Hello guys, I'm so excited that I finally have just received my new book, which is Training, Nutrition, Supplementation in Bodybuilding. You can purchase this book on Amazon. In this book, you're going to find basics regarding how to eat, how to work out, and what supplements to use in bodybuilding, and along with my other book, which is already available, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, actually speaks about drug use, which is the improved version of my very first book, The PEDs Used in Sports. Somebody has the whole package of knowledge in order to fulfill his targets. Thank you so far for the positive feedback and the good comments, and I hope you do like it.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Tsoulianos and brought to you by his books. The original, Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, contains an excellent overview of PEDs and how they're used. Definitely something you should look into before you use any PEDs. And then the sequel, written during quarantine, Training, Nutrition, Supplementation in Bodybuilding. That way you put it all together. The training, the nutrition, the supplementation, and the PEDs. That's how you get the spectacular physiques. And of course, doctor, I throw in real bodybuilding, 25 years, muscle truths from 25 years in the trenches. Should be 37. I'm not doing it today. All that can be found on Amazon.com. And you also want to check out the doctor's website behind it, gtool.com, gtoul.com. Now, please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Tsoulianos. Good afternoon for you.
Yeah, hi, what's up?
Yeah, everyone's excited about the big show in Europe next week.
Yeah, one is competing in Spain, eh?
Big Ramy.
Actually, there's a Greek competitor, a rookie that will face Ramy, in Spain, and another friend of mine is competing in Romania. So it's 6 weeks from now, 6 or 5 weeks.
Romania is like mid-November, I think, right?
Yeah, end of November. Yeah, it's the last show. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, big Ramy. It'd be exciting to see him. Everyone thinks he's going to win.
He will take the easy.
I mean, he's second place in the Olympia. If he's in shape, we'll see. All right, doctor, we got so many questions. We got so many, you might even say no to some of these because there's a lot of questions. Some weeks we don't get a lot of questions. Some weeks we get bombarded with questions. This is one of those.
I don't have the answer to everything, so I'll say next question, all right?
That's fine. That's fair. I think that's more real, That way it shows, not everybody knows everything.
I'm not playing the wise ass here,
huh? No. Okay. So the first question, talking about injecting cypionate, wouldn't every other day with cypionate help keep more stable blood levels and minimize conversion to estrogen and DHT? Because you've talked about doing it twice a week. This person wants to do or once a week even, right? This person wants to do their cypionate every other day.
Well, it depends on the dose. If you do microdosing, no, there's no problem with frequent pinning. Or besides, the frequent pinning will elevate the SHBG and will prevent the excessive aromatization by elevating free testosterone. But if the guy does 200 milligrams every other day, then this is crazy. There's no need to this, actually. Yeah. I mean, if you do 20 every other day, it's 800 milligrams per week. Why don't you shoot twice of 400?
Because they want more stable blood levels. That's why.
No, there's no problem with that because cypionate is a slow release ester,
Yeah. I was thinking once you've been injecting cypionate or enanthate for a few weeks.
Now, if you do propionate, yes, you have to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer. Question. A pro bodybuilder was discussing his blood work recently. His total test was in the 800 range, but free test 250. Yes, 250. I questioned him on it, and that was the number. How can his free test be that high?
I guess it has to be super low, the SHBG, Perhaps he's using Proviron, Yeah. He's eating too much of insulin that suppresses SHBG. Yeah, this is the only picture that I can imagine. Or perhaps he's using also DHEA. Vitamin D also may lower SHBG, but this is the picture that technically you elevate free testosterone, but you can lower. I mean, you just elevate free testosterone, but not total by the synthetic DHT.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I had blood work done, my total test was like 2,000, I think, and the 2,200, and my free was, I want to say like 225. So this doesn't sound that crazy to me at all. Okay, here's a good one. I wanted to know how I can have a good sleep two hours after having strong coffee with caffeine.
Oh, this is crazy. This is, you cannot demand such a bullshit, you know, thing. It's like sniffing cocaine. I want to take a nap afterwards.
Yeah.
So take it easy, because a half hour of caffeine is about 6 hours. So it has to clear the system, and make sure that you don't drink caffeine after 6 p.m. Otherwise, you have to sleep. I torture myself when I have to go to the gym at 7 in the afternoon. You know, I struggle to sleep because I want to have a really effective workout, but then I pay the price of this during my night sleep. And
well, let me ask you, doctor, you train at 7 o'clock at night usually?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, I have to sometimes, you know, 6, 7. This is my, it's between 5 and 7, you know.
Okay.
I'm blessed.
Do you have coffee, or do you have a pre-workout when you train that late?
Always take a black coffee. That's it, you know, because pre-workouts sometimes give me itching. Perhaps it's too strong for me. So a black coffee is all right. But, you know, it sucks afterwards, because I do so intense workouts that later I struggle to fall asleep.
Yeah.
You know, and I have realized that taking off caffeine from my system for 2 days, I had this when I had the perfect sleep.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. The question, doctor, when does your workday start every day, roughly? I'm just curious.
I wake up early in the morning. Occasionally, when I have to what time, it depends on what time I sleep. But the point is, I set my appointments straight in the afternoon, because the traffic is horrible. It takes me 1 hour by a car to go there.
Wow.
You know, some of my patients work in the morning, you know. So anyway, the traffic is horrible. So I start at 12 o'clock, my appointments, you know.
Yeah.
Unless there's extra occasion, I do it at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. You know, and if I don't have any appointment, then I do the workout at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. You know, but I have to eat first my breakfast and then my second meal. Now, with 2 meals, it's okay to have a good workout, you know. But I believe the perfect timing for a workout is until, it's from noon to early afternoon, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you don't have to wake up next day. But the point is, without sleep, there's no recovery, no matter how good you eat, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
So this guy has to take caffeine earlier, okay?
Yeah.
Wait for 6 hours to get rid of the system. And afterwards, you can use some sleeping agents, if not benzodiazepines, you know.
Yeah.
So like melatonin, 5-hydroxytryptophan, gamma-aminobutyric acid, and magnesium as a muscle relaxant, and then some valeriano chamomile for the stress you relief, you know, and that's all.
You don't want to turn into Elvis Presley, because they had to give him drugs to wake him up, and they had to give him more drugs to put him back to sleep. It was constantly drugs up, drugs down, like every day. And obviously he died very young. I think he was 44.
Yeah.
So,
You get
not good.
stoned with this, yes.
Okay. Insulin question, doctor. How long can we take insulin, 4 to 6 IUs with HGH, between 4 to 8 IU per day? Insulin seems to be taken on and off. Do people cycle insulin?
First of all, there's no problem with any insulin axis. So technically, when you use insulin, you give a rest to the pancreas from over-releasing and over-producing insulin. So there's no such fatigue or, you know, axis of suppression. The point is, why to use insulin with a moderate dose of GH? There's no need. You have to watch out your A1C. You have to watch out your diet, you know. So do not eat so many simple carbohydrates and hyperglycemic carbohydrates when you use GH. And I'm in front of metformin. Now, they say that metformin lowers mTOR in the paper, theoretically, or IGF-1, but I use it. I prefer to have an A1C below 5%. Perhaps this is too extreme for some doctors, but I rather have below 5 than have below 6, you know, percent. Gotcha. And there's no need to use insulin unless you have an insulin resistance phase, you know. So A1C over 5.5, you know. Of course, it was synergistically with GH, but, you know, messing up with insulin, you may go to the other life.
The next life.
The next life.
Well, at least there's no COVID in the next life, right? So What a terrible joke that was. I'm amazed this guy can afford 8 IUs of GH a day. That's not cheap. That's a good amount
Yes,
of money.
yes, exactly.
Okay, next question, doctor. Is it a good idea to bulk for the first 10 weeks on cycle using test 400 milligrams per week, deca 300 milligrams per week, and anadrol 50 milligrams per day, and then 10 more weeks of cutting, drop the deca to 200 milligrams per week, up the test to 500 per week, and add masteron? And then is masteron a good idea for
So
dryness and cutting?
I would switch to propionate and to testosterone propionate and androl phenylpropionate, so the fast-acting esters of these drugs.
Test and deca, yeah.
Yes, and masteron also, perhaps, yes, to give some antiestrogenic effect, and another androgen that hardens you up. And you know, substitute Dianabol with Winstrol or Anavar. This sounds the reasonable, you know, thing to do.
Yeah. He wants to do 200 milligrams of deca, 500 milligrams of test a week, and he's curious what would a good dose of masteron for that for those two that you would add on to those two agents.
So do, if it's masteron propionate, the most common, to 100 every other day.
100 every other day. Okay, gotcha. MK677 question. Can MK677, the GH secretagogue, be used long term? Obviously, dose and diet play a big role. My A1C is 5.3%, glucose random 92 milligrams per deciliter, and fasted glucose is usually above 100 milligrams per deciliter per
That's
centimeter.
not a good scenario to have a fasting glucose of over 100, you know, it's kind of elevated. So the post-meal glucose 2 hours afterwards is more it's more reliable, showing the reaction of pancreas to the high insulin, and it has to be below 140. So MK677 kicks your own production of GH, so it doesn't elevate that much, you know. You have to watch it out, you know. This 5.3 because it's closer to 5.5, you know. But some people believe it's a waste of money, those secretagogues, the GHRH secretagogues.
Yeah.
Perhaps collect your savings and then invest it in real legitimate GH.
Yeah. But long term, I mean, people use GH forever and ever. They don't cycle on and off. So if you're gonna go with this secretagogue, there's no issues with using it long term, as far as we know, are there?
No, as I recently read that it may shut off your own production, those secretagogues, especially sermorelin, even though it's a GHRH. They say that it's a negative loop, but the point is, IGF-1 doesn't elevate remarkably those, you know. So it's safer in terms of cellular proliferation and tumor production, but on the other hand, it's just to go for a good sleep and have a recovery. That's all. Yeah. That's all. It's nothing about. I guess it's not too much about fat loss, especially then for growth. You know, so just to have a good sleep and a recovery. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question is, it's for both of us. It's a Winstrol. My body responds very well to injectable Winstrol. Ron, do you or Dr. T have any experience with oral or injectable Winstrol? I'd like to go oral so I don't have to pin every day, but not if the injectable Winnie is a lot better. What do you think? Definitely you go first on this one, doctor.
Yes, well, every kind of injectable form is better. Number one, it enters the bloodstream, you know. Number two, is less toxic than the oral form. And we know that stanozolol is 17-alkylated. Even though it sustains the liver metabolism, it's more stressful. And you need 5 pills in order to do 1 ml of stanozolol. So I guess the impact also for the liver is less. In one shot, we have 50, but then you have to take 5 of 10 pills. And the benefit is that it gets straight to the bloodstream. You know, the other way is to crush the tablets and dissolve the powder under the tongue in order to have it fast into your bloodstream, and in this way may bypass the first hepatic entrance. Yeah. I have abused stanozolol, both oral and injectable. It's the worst, perhaps, drug for HDL. and also nasty on the joints because it shut off aldosterone. It's the only steroid that blocks aldosterone. This is a good thing in order not to have a water retention. On the other hand, it's kind of drying your joints, so there's no water accumulation into the synovial cavity. So the joints will be toasted, and then you may have a rupture.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, I'm glad because I have very, very little experience with Winstrol. I've done many, many cycles of steroids over the years, and I think I've used Winstrol two or three times ever.
It's a must for pre-contest,
Yeah, I never used it I used it once for a contest, and I was taking the tabs. International Pharmaceuticals used to make 50 milligram Winstrol tablets. They were little blue circular tablets.
That's a
and
lot.
I was doing 2 a day, and then the last couple of weeks I started getting crazy. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and take another one, and I wake up and take another one. And I don't know, at some point I was probably doing like 300 milligrams of oral Winstrol a day the last couple of weeks.
Shit, man.
And I got blood work done maybe 2 weeks after the contest, and the doctor thought I had hepatitis because my liver enzymes were so elevated. So yeah, I'm not a big Winstrol fan. I have nothing against it. I just never. It's not something I've used.
It's a very good for explosive activity like sprinting in athletics. Ben Johnson was doped with him.
Yeah.
And zero water retention. So these athletes, they care about the weight. They don't want to have any weight gain.
Right.
You have to be in a certain weight in order to perform better.
Yeah. So probably like wrestlers, Olympic lifters, anything with weight divisions. Probably.
And also sprinting, you have to be lean.
Yeah. Ben Johnson, those guys are ripped. Yeah. Sometimes they show them like running, the men or the women, and it's an action shot, and you could see every.
This is like, it looks like physique,
Yeah, absolutely. They're more ripped than a lot of people I see on stage, some of these guys and girls. Cardering question. Dr. T, is cardering safe?
This because I don't have any personal experience on dosing of cardering,
Yeah. I skipped one of the natural bodybuilder because the questions he had were basically, that would be a whole show, sir. No offense. Maybe we'll do that show.
Oh, natural bodybuilding,
Yeah. No, that's a whole show because he wants to know like everything. So we'll do that another time. Here's another question about our personal drug use, doctor. Back in each of your competition stage days, if you could only use one anabolic steroid in addition to testosterone, which would you choose and why?
Well, Trembolone. What else?
Yeah. Easy answer. Same. Yeah, test and trend. Because, would you even use? Did you cut out your test?
If I wanted to blast for the rest of my life, it would be Test and Primo.
Test and Primo. When you competed, did you cut out testosterone at a certain point, like a week or two?
Yes, the last 2 weeks, and substituted with masteron. But the point is, when I did that, my muscles kind of shrink.
Yeah.
So the intramuscular water was a dominant factor for volume.
Yeah, that's why they say test is best. It really is.
My muscles looked more live. How you say, they were kind of more dead when I took off testosterone.
Yeah, I can say, looking back at my pictures from over the years, I used to abuse. There were times when I did a gram of test a week. Maybe
during off season, yes, it sounds reasonable.
Yeah, and that's when I was my biggest, when I was using a gram of test a week plus some equipoise, some deca, some trend, something like that. But you're right. I think it was the test that was really responsible for that fullness and the muscle density. Okay, I have a question on anabolism and longevity. There's a growing body of research which supports the role of fasting and autophagy in the renewal of cells and longevity. This requires a catabolic environment for at least part of the day. Low insulin, low IGF, low mTOR for autophagy to be activated, i.e. cellular growth to be turned off. Constant round-the-clock anabolism would permanently turn off this process of autophagy and cell renewal. So, is there a case to be made that going all out for anabolism is probably not a good idea in respect to life extension, living a long life?
Yes, theoretically, this sounds reasonable. And perhaps when you cut off protein for 24 hours, then you kind of, protein sensitivity increases, So when you starve for perhaps 24 hours in order to kick your AMPK, and shut off your mTOR, then when you ingest protein, then you kind of assimilate more. I don't know. Some people speculate this, but this is catastrophic for a bodybuilder. You know, for somebody who does meditation or who's a monk or who doesn't lift. This would be ideal, but eating up your muscles, come on.
Well, I mean, I've read before that the people that live the longest, they eat less food.
Small dogs lives longer. Yeah, this is a fact. And
So
in
small people.
Japanese people are very skinny, 110 pounds.
Yeah, and they
I
live to
think
be
it has to
100.
do also with the heart, because there's less stress in the heart. But on the other hand, if you have sarcopenia and muscle wasting, you are very vulnerable to catabolic diseases and chronic diseases. And when you lay down in bed, then the cancer or the HIV or the renal failure will eat you up, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to know that more muscle means more antibodies, because antibodies are proteins. So when you had a big trauma and a stress, you eat up your muscles to release, to make more glutamine, to make more antibodies, So the organism, the system has to eat up from its stores, which is the muscle, it's your flesh. That's why protein is the best source food, and muscles are protein, of course,
Yeah. So you don't think vegans will live a lot longer than people like us that eat
Vegans
chicken
are
and
good.
beef?
It's good to be a vegan for the cardiovascular, but not for other. I mean, one size does not fit to all,
Yeah.
It's good because you take off cholesterol, perhaps cholesterol. Of course, we know about endogenous cholesterol synthesized in the liver, but the vegan diet is good to lower your triglycerides, to lower your uric acid, to lower your urea, okay, and creatinine. But on the other hand, you have several deficiencies, When you are a vegan, you can pray, you can do meditation, you can, I don't know, you on the other hand, you cannot do serious physical activity.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I wonder if they live longer. I don't know if there's any studies that have been done. I don't know if there've been.
My grandmother is 107. All her life, every week, she had red meat.
107?
Yeah, and she had red meat, never chicken, but red meat. Beef. Okay?
107. So she was born in
1915 and 1913.
1913.
The year after the Titanic sink.
Wow. Was that before World War One, I think.
During, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. God bless her, doctor. Okay. All right, next question. I take 60 milligrams of Sustanon every other day. I take an anti-estrogen 25.25, I guess that's micrograms or milligrams every other day. I don't know which one he's taking. I want to take Proviron because I'm always bloated. My sex hormone globulin is naturally always low. Should I not take Proviron?
So you are bloated because you have excess sodium intake, perhaps you eat too much carbs, and insulin leads to water retention. And now, low SHBG doesn't mean you are bloated because, it's low the SHBG, then your free testosterone will be high, then perhaps you have also excess aromatization. So getting a Proviron, which is anti-estrogenic, it may have some anti-estrogenic activity, but it's not the key in order to feel bloated. So you may need a diuretic if you're extra bloated, We have to find a particular reason. It doesn't mean that. Besides, you don't need Proviron if your SHBG is tanked, It will not resolve any issue by, I guess his free testosterone is already high.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's what he needs now.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we get a lot of hair questions, doctor. What is the best, because of your hair, people see how cool your hair is and they want your secrets. What is the best way to protect your hair when on and off cycle? What drugs are best for hair protection and what supplements?
So we have the 5A reductase inhibitors, dutasteride and finasteride, preferably dutasteride, but it's more potent because it kills DHT in the scalp and in the prostate. So it kills your sex drive also and your self-esteem and everything that is possible out of DHT. Then you need B complex and iron is very important, And also you need a localized apply of ketoconazole and minoxidil that also lower DHT in the scalp. But if you are a vegan, for instance, and you have iron deficiency, then you might observe some hair loss. Okay, so there might be a case.
Okay. He also wanted to know best way to reduce blood pressure. I think we get that question all the time too.
Well, it depends on the reason. Now, on salt intake, also stimulants, stress. Also, it could be neuronal, or maybe idiopathic. That means we don't know the reason for that. Okay. Too much aldosterone also released from steroids. It's multifactorial, it depends on the case. But we have different medications. We have the calcium channel blockers. We have the angiotensin-converting enzyme, the AC inhibitors. We have diuretics,
Yeah.
Depends.
Okay.
On the case.
Gotcha. We've talked about this, but he wants you to settle this for good. Should we aspirate our steroids? When we load up the needle, should
Actually, all my life I never aspirated. And if you do shallow injections, I don't think it's quite necessary. Now, if you do deep, perhaps it is. But of course, all the nurses at the hospital do it. Okay. Now, sometimes I'm really unlucky that taking off the needle from my butt, there is a pin of artery of blood. It looks like a horror film.
Yeah, I've had that happen. Yeah, it shoots out.
Yeah. And this is when you had stroke an artery.
Yeah. I mean,
but the best is to take off all the air. So just in case you are so unlucky and you penetrate a vein, at least to have zero air within,
Yeah.
Because the air bubble may give you an embolism.
Yeah. So get all the air out of the oil, guys.
Yes, you may spill half a ml. Okay, no problem. But it would be worse if you inject everything with an air,
and die. Oh man, we're so cheap. I mean, I know a guy who he broke a bottle. He dropped a bottle of, I don't know what it was, Winstrol or something, on the floor, and he sucked it all up and put it into another bottle. It had just been on the ground. He's so lucky he didn't get an infection, but that's how bodybuilders are.
Yeah.
Man, okay. What is the best timing to take Silimarin on a cycle that includes orals? So this is for liver protection.
Together, along with the orals.
Take them at the same time. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. MK677. Man, these people love this stuff. What to expect from taking MK67 completely alone? Is 10 milligrams daily enough?
I think more is not better. There's a point that no matter how much you use, then the hypophysis will kick a certain amount of G8s. But do not expect anything far from recovery and good sleep. Perhaps in the long term you look leaner, but I doubt if you look more muscular.
Gotcha. Final question. Doctor, recently I got Enanthate from Galenica. That's a Serbian pharmacy.
Yeah.
The carrier oil is refined olive oil. I also got some farmer grade Enanthate from a Moldavian company, Balkan Pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Their carrier oil is peach oil, but this one also contains benzyl, benzoate, and benzyl alcohol. My question is, why do I get post-injection pain and skin inflammation when doing shallow IM intramuscular with the Balkan Pharmaceuticals testosterone, but I don't get any PIP, post-injection pain, when using the one from Galenica? Is it the different carrier oil?
Yes, it has to do with the benzoline, which is an alcohol.
The alcohol, yeah.
Now, benzoline, you have to know that it gives you also trunk cough.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has a distinct odor to the nose,
Yeah.
Burning one.
Yeah, because the people call it, they always say trend cough, but I've gotten that cough when doing injections many times from other
I had
steroids.
Cipionate because of benzoline.
Yeah, it's the benzyl alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this: when you get these highly concentrated things like T400, don't they have to use a lot more benzyl alcohol to dissolve that much testosterone into a milliliter?
Perhaps, but it's really pain in the ass the more dense. So testosterone 250 is far more painful than propionate 100.
Yeah. Yeah, T400. I've known
This is
personally.
crazy. This is for big Grammy doses, huh?
I mean, yeah, I mean, most people. I don't know who needs to be injecting. You know, if they're doing 1.5 mil, that'd be like 600 milligrams of testosterone at once. I don't know who needs to put that much testosterone in their body at once. That's ridiculous. The pain is, I've gotten like horrible inflammation and pain, like my whole leg. I had a limp, couldn't walk right for like days, almost a week. So yeah, stay away from that stuff, guys. That's my advice anyway. Doctor, that's all the questions I have for today. Do we have a Dr. T Tuesday this week on muscular development?
Yes, of course. We have, it's about uh, Dr. Dope or social worker.
Okay, okay. So guys, that can be found on musculardevelopment.com. Right here on YouTube, which is where you're probably watching this video. Please leave your comments, your questions underneath this. We'll get to them for the next video. What else did I want to let you know? Oh yeah, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like these videos, guys, a lot of you guys say this is your favorite show. The doctor's doing great work. He's the best doctor on YouTube for this type of advice, which I think he is. Share the videos. Let other people know about it. We want to get the word out. We want more people watching these, get some good questions. We can help more people.
Ron, I have an idea. Since Bill Welling was a part of MD and he
Yeah.
was a writer, why don't we invite him, and exchange some thoughts and ideas about some topics on gear?
I'm down for that. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
You know
we can,
Bill, don't you?
sorry?
You know Bill, right? You're
Yeah,
actually
I'll give him a call. Yes.
okay. Yeah, you arrange it. I'm here. I'll do it. Oh, absolutely. I have much respect for that guy. He's probably, I consider him. Do you agree? Is he the world's foremost authority
Yes.
expert on steroids?
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he has edited 11 editions of Anabolics, and next year will be the 12th. The 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a phrase in America when someone's like an expert on something, we say they wrote the book on, aircraft design or architecture. He actually did write the book on steroids. He's the number one authority as far as most people are
Mm-hmm.
concerned. Yeah. The Anabolic reference guide, isn't it like about that big, that thing? It's a huge
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Yeah. 800 pages.
Whew, good Lord. It's like a Bible, literally a Bible. Cool. Well, doctor, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time helping all these people all around the world. We do get quite a mix of questions from North America, South America, Central America,
Australia.
Africa, Europe,
Australia.
Asia.
Asia. Yeah.
Here, we're everywhere. So it's cool, man. Thank you so
We're
much.
off the planet.
You're global. It is global, like MD Global, Giles' show. Cool, man. All right, guys. So everybody, please get your questions in the comments. We'll get to them next time. Check out the doctor's books on Amazon.com. They are, once again, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Training, Nutrition, and Supplementation in Bodybuilding. Check those out. And we will see you guys next time. We appreciate you watching.